I've been meaning to make a video about why Islam in Anatolia or Turkey is different than the other types of Islam for ages. This has been a really interesting question mark in my head from my own experiences. Uh, in Turkey, we used to experience the religion much different than now. Now it's more going towards an Arabic way of looking at Islam or living the Islam, but not exactly Anatolian or that Turkish way, unless you start to go to the hills or the small villages, small towns. There's like a more of a hint of it, or you can sense that the Islam there is different. Um, the reason for that is Anatolia, it being a passageway, uh, it has really different roots. First of all, pre-Islamic, it was shamanic, and from shamanic to converted, like basically they were living shamanic life, nomads. Mm. And then they converted to Islam. They didn't just throw away all their beliefs, that mystical beliefs. They didn't throw away like their connection with different spirits and blah blah. They didn't throw away all that respect to nature, respect to journeyman, respect the journey of each other. That's like very shamanically rooted things. They didn't throw away this really weird ceremonies. What they did was they combined all those and created and come up with this new way of Islam, which is not like, it doesn't really have a different name. You just realize it if you're living in there. That's why um, the 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 Islamic lifestyle, the Muslims in Arabic countries or the Africa, the Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Lebanon, they are different. It's not just like okay, it's just sharing the same book, Quran, but it's different totally. Um, it's the way, it's the way that you feel it. And also one of the things is, I mean, of course, Islam is divided into also sects. It's in its own thing, like Sunni, Shia, Alevi, and Sufism, right? And the birthplace of Sufism is Anatolia. When I say Anatolia, so imagine Turkey. So I'll give a very quick, like a geographic. I'm not gonna edit this, so just keeping your eyes and ears open. It's like, imagine Turkey as a rectangle. So you're facing with a map, and this is this part from here that goes to Europe, and there's a little bit of Turkey in European continent, and this part is Asia. Mhm. This rectangle is Anatolia. And the whole thing is, it's not actually, they're not actually completely separate continents. Mhm. And there's the Russia, and there's the Black Sea, and this is Mediterranean Sea. Do you get it? I know you get it. I know you're clever. Okay, like the rectangle, Anatolia, a little bit, Istanbul and Trakya, there's the Balkans joining in there. That goes to Europe. And that rectangle, Anatolia, this just spreads to Asia. So that's the passageway. And the whole thing is called Eurasia. And that Anatolia part used to called um, Asia Minor, because that's the whole thing Asia. That's called Asia Minor. So when you think about it, there is no East, so there is no Middle East. It was Asia Minor. And then the rest goes to Asia. That's the continent itself. Um, okay, where are we? So for here in in Anatolia was born the Sufism. So Sufism is very, very, in essence, is um, it's it's more like a Buddhism in a, like, not like, I mean, can't really one to one compare them, but if you must compare it with something, and it's more like that, because it encourages you to have your own experience with God and to seek it through your inner wisdom and inner hearings. So that's why meditation, this dervish, what is it called? I just gone blank. You know, these dances they do, the dervishes, whirling dervishes, sema. So the whirling, have you heard about the whirling dervishes? I'm sure you have. So the whirling dervishes, they do sema. It's called sema, and the reason for that is they lose themselves in that moment with the spin of the galaxies, with the spin of the earth, and in the universe, with each other, like the stars and like the planets. You lose yourself to find yourself in yourself and find God, right? So, and Sufism is more of a mystical experience. Sufism not is in not it is not in Arabic culture. It's not in Arabic way of living Islam. That is more, let me see, I think that's more Sunni. So there is four major divisions: Sunni, Shi'i, Alevi, and Sufism. Alevi is kind of um, it's the offshoot of Shia, which means that the prophets, the the being the caliph, the like the leader after the prophet, is passed on to Ali, but not everybody's agreed on that, so they wanted to, I think, pass it on to the blood line. Is that a just tell me, is that a cousin of Muhammad that has been passed on to? So it's like rightful successors, right? Um, anyway, I don't remember my knowledges, that I don't remember all the information that's been taught to me. Like, but we can read it if you like. But I also don't want this to be a very long video. So in essence, when I was growing up, and my grandmother, she was like super, super religious woman, but we didn't have the, I didn't have the experience. Like, I lived with her, she raised me. I didn't have the experience of today's Islam, with like this big burqas and big things, and like, I don't know. It's a very different it- it's a very different understanding. It's a very different understanding of, like, it's a different value system, uh, because Anatolian people use they come from the shamanic roots. They have a they have a belief and respect to the earth, to nature, to individualism, to um it's just like a different way of living. So what I've been noticing, I guess, like, that's one of the reasons that made me make this video is, I always thought, like, I am not, somebody's telling me something about something, and I don't and that wasn't my experience. So I just wanted to do a very, very brief. I'm just looking at this, like, um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about like a Sufism and things like that in the next video if you like. I think that's very interesting. Like, the some of the Sufi branches or the school of thoughts, um, when they separated themselves, they also were believer, or they embraced using hallucinogenics or using hashish, uh, like smoking hashish. It's sort of like it's hemp, it's a wheat, it's marijuana, marijuana, and drinking wine. To It's not to get intoxicated, but to lose yourself in your own senses, to reach and